sightings of ghosts, an abandoned insane asylum, creepy ass dolls, werewolves, and witches, honey. Do not obey. Stay woke. Nobody's gonna stop me. This is real. Do not obey. Stay woke. Scary as hell. What's up, guys? It's me, Do Not Obey, and let's get into another video. Now we're going to talk about the military. Thank you guys for your service. I have people that are in my family that are military, so once again, thank you for your service. And please, I'm anti everything. I don't even believe in the Matrix, let alone the Truman Show. But if you're gonna uphold anything, please uphold your oath to the people. Message. All right, so with that being said, you know we gotta keep it spooky. I'm year round, baby, okay? So with that being said, military, paranormal experiences. What they've seen, what they've possibly heard, and what they've went through. On top of fighting for others and keeping themselves alive, they have to also fight against principalities, ghosts, demons, and spirits. So I hope you guys do enjoy this video, and like I always say, do not obey, stay woke. Peace.
So I'm laying in bed on this, you can look up this old place, it's Walker Drive, Fort Meade, near Fort Meade. There's no more houses there, it's just all built up and torn down. But lived in this all brick house that was connected to another home that if you poked the hole through the wall, you could see the neighbors in the adjacent room. Few 100-square-foot home, very, very, very small. As a kid, we would always hear like people running upstairs, footsteps, and my parents would, ignore it. It's just the house creaking or whatever. And these footsteps would start to come down the stairs. You'd hear heavy footsteps just going around upstairs, and they start to go downstairs, and they would stop. A few other times you would hear conversations, but like whispers, or like staticky whispers on a radio station you couldn't tune into all the way. And as a kid, you don't think too much of it, you just hear stuff. But the scariest, most traumatizing, if you want to call it that, experience that I've had, I was laying in bed, and to this day, I'm paranoid of sleeping on my back because of it. Laying in bed, on my back, and something woke me up. And I see a soldier who, at the time, I had no idea what his uniform looked like. It was different than my dad's. I didn't find out later that it was like a old Civil War style uniform. And I see a soldier walk past my doorway. I rub my eyes, put the blankets over my head, rub them some more, and look back down. And now it's not just one, there's soldiers, a line of them, walking, and they would turn to go down the stairs into the main living room space. Maybe 10 soldiers passed by. The last soldier, he got in my doorway, turned, looked, and started to walk into my room towards me. Jumped out of my bed, ran through him, into the bathroom, curled up on the toilet, and started screaming. My dad runs out, and I'm screaming at him, please don't spank me, because that's what normally would happen. And he came in, grabbed me, held me, and I told him what I saw as best as I could, and he says, I know, son, I know. I saw it too. That was my first real ghost experience.
About the ghosts that I was talking about. All right, well, there's this place. It's called the BU Split. A very dangerous place. It was an old war zone that the Russians and Iraqis were fighting in, I think, the early 80s. I'm not really sure of the time frame. I forget. But when we would go like dig trenches or, like make a little command post and stuff, we would find like remains of people. And I remember they would like, if you dig something up, make sure you put it back. So there was one night I was actually getting off of security, and all of a sudden the radios was picking up chatter that wasn't coming from us. Then we start seeing people through our night vision goggles screaming, fighting, and shooting. So we was shooting back, but nothing was happening. Like, nobody was falling, nobody was dying, but we was hearing it all, we was seeing it all, and like people was like, "What the hell's going on?" Come to find out, that shit was haunted. It was haunted from the past battles that was there. So these things that was coming up on our night vision goggles were the spirits of the dead that didn't make it from whatever time frame the Russians and them had they battles for entertainment purposes only. And sometimes we'll be out there and like out of nowhere we'll just hear gunfire. We'll hear people screaming, yelling, like people are really getting hurt, but it's nobody around. And they were the ghosts. Like after we were getting debriefed, you know, a couple guys stood up, was like, "What the hell is going on at the BU split? I don't understand. Like we taking contact, we're hearing shit over the radio, we're seeing shit through night vision goggles." And one of the higher ups was like, "We don't talk about this, so this ain't gonna leave the room. What you're seeing is deceased soldiers that are haunting this area that we are patrolling and holding security at." So I'm sitting there, I'm like, so these motherfuckers got us fighting ghosts? Not only zombies, but you got us fighting ghosts? You got us fighting jinn? Like, it was weird. You got us fighting cannibals? So I just wanted to clear that up for y'all.
Draw a small gray.
Small gray. Yeah.
That's not
Are these the aliens that you've seen?
That is not gray.
No, but
Which ones did you see?
yeah, these right here, the small gray. They had a mouth.
How do they breathe?
They have nostrils, but they don't.
Do they breathe oxygen?
Yes, they can breathe oxygen. They on the atmosphere on their planet is very similar, but it's a binary star system, so they have like 2 suns, and which makes the air a lot drier. Their skin is their bones are more fragile than ours. But they kind of
So I can fucking.
look like that.
They don't want to fuck.
What's their body look like?
Their bodies, well, only
Do they walk around naked? Do they wear clothes? What do they do?
Yeah, the chicks have boots.
How do they
On their
fuck?
home planet. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. Now, see, they didn't. I'm reading this that exchange program that Steven Spielberg explained at the end of Close Encounters of the Third Kind was really close to.
Draw a female up there because I want to see if I fuck it.
Well, I don't know. They look the same.
How do you tell a male from a female?
You're pointing.
They got fun bags?
No, not from what
Who they
So
fuck?
a mother.
Actually, EDE1 is a female. The one, was a female. She actually.
Draw the other one. This is the gray. Draw all 3 of them.
Do the girls have?
Because I don't know which one.
What are the reptile ones look
Which
like?
one I'd fuck.
And then there's
we
another one which is
interspecies,
actually a clone. These things created a clone which looks something similar, but it
And
has
these
a
are
large
bad dudes?
pointy
They
nose.
cloned?
They have large pointy noses, but they pretty much.
You said they live among us, huh?
There was another incident called the Hangar
Squidward.
Okay.
Hangar number 4. And these right here are the tall whites, and they're actually a clone created by the small grays.
Are they?
They're like servants.
What's the angry ones look like? The reptile ones that you were talking about.
Fucking bad. The ones that we're gonna be fighting.
Yeah, they have small
Yeah, we
eyes.
actually saw those in Battle LA.
They have small eyes,
cut open their stomachs. So
They got
like,
weapons?
they have a heart.
So forward.
Yeah, weapons.
They're kind of like an onion.
Do they have weapons?
Have layers.
But it's okay. She's a vegetarian.
Are they evil?
The alien ones?
Or not?
They look like reptiles.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. This is a very bad drawing, but
This is pretty good to me.
This dude's on Land and Lost, right?
How tall are those motherfuckers right there?
these guys right here, and they're all humanoids, so they both walk on 2 legs. They all walk on 2 legs.
Well, I don't want to fuck that thing.
And this thing right
The
here,
first thing, and they'll go like the fucking first one I fucked.
this thing right here is huge. They're actually they're taller than us. They stand about 6 foot something on an average.
Video was a recording of a soldier that was in Iraq deployed in 2010 in May. He was FaceTiming his family and he had some strange experiences. This is what he experienced.
Trish, I love you. I wish I could be home with you too. I know we.
In country, they're set up every like distance apart, and this house that they were set up at, that one of my seniors was set up at, was like an old slaughterhouse for the ISIS, and so it was boarded up, but they were using it because it was a good vantage point. And so they were just like standing watching. It was dark out. And then he gets a radio call from his buddy, and he's like, "Hey, I think you have someone is someone behind you or coming up towards you?" And he radio back. He's like, "No," and he's like, "I got him on thermal." And so he turns around, checks the perimeter, and he's like, "A negative. I don't see anyone." And he's like, "Are you sure? Just double check, go up to the roof." And then he did, and then he came back, and he's like, "No," and he's like, he goes over the radio again, and he's like, "No," and his friend was kind of shaky. He's like, "It's are you sure?" Because someone's right next to you because he has thermals, and so he's catching something on the thermal, and he's like, "No." So he tries to look around, and he see a hole in the old slaughterhouse. And when I say slaughterhouse, I mean execution. They executed people, And so he views into this hole, and he could feel something just looking back at him, but he couldn't see anything, light, nothing. And so he went out, went to the stairway, and then he stopped. And he's something in his mind told him tell him to pray, basically. And he started pray because he was Christian, and he started praying, and his friend was radioing him, and he was he's right in front of you. He could feel feel this presence in front of him, and he said he could kind of see it in the darkness, and he said it was a big grin and these piercing black eyes. And then it went away on the thermals.
No.
And so
that's terrifying.
I know, because normally I thought ghosts were supposed to be cold and wouldn't show up on thermals, but for it to show up on thermals, it was making me think it's something else.
Oh.
Maybe demonic, because they're hot or something.
Oh, yeah, I think I've heard that.
That's crazy.
There's a certain outpost in Afghanistan too, with crazy stories about the radios getting interference with Soviet.
I do actually have
right here. He is very easy to see, and let me show you the photos were taken 1, 2. Let me show you the other one. Here's the one without it. There's the one with it. Here they are side by side. I don't know if that's a worker or if it's someone from the land before the military base was put there, but it's very easy to see that he's there. Let me show you some other close-ups. You can clearly see hat, face, beard, uniform clothing of some sort. If you're having problems seeing this, I don't know how, but if you are, hold your phone away from your face. You can't see them up close like this. It's better to pull it away. The follower that sent this in wanted to stay anonymous. I can understand why. They don't want to get in trouble, or whoever took the photo to get in trouble.
Like in the 1960s Vietnam War, the American military, they invented like night vision goggles, but they had the red night vision goggles. It wasn't the green one like what we have today. So these new goggles were issued to like military troops. This whole thing took place like within 60 days of it, from it being given to them, those guys, to them cutting the whole shit out, because they said these people were they're freaking out. They're seeing weird shit now. And imagine that, like you're fighting war, right? But you have these goggles on at night, and then you're seeing things that looks like, like evil monsters, and you're like, hey, hold on, that doesn't look like a Vietnamese guy. That looks like a straight up, like a damn Jersey Devil and shit. Like this one guy was in a helicopter just shooting at Vietnamese people. They said, "What are you shooting at?" It's like, all these demons out here. He said he was spraying all these demons. Pilot was like, hey, what are you doing? Like,
on the night of March 23rd, 2004. Liam Collins, along with the rest of his unit, find themselves stranded when their vehicle and equipment experience sudden and unexplained failure. On a desolate stretch of unfamiliar terrain 14 miles out from base, the incident leaves them without the means of transportation and, more troublingly, radio equipment that ceases to function. In the face of this unexpected setback, the soldiers embark on a resolute journey towards what initially appears to be a rustic village, with the anticipation of seeking assistance and refuge from the local inhabitants. As the team enters the village, it quickly becomes clear that it's deserted, with empty huts and silent alleys devoid of life. Undeterred by the unsettling atmosphere, the team continues their search for occupants. However, their sergeant briefly observes a disquieting shift in the environment, as the once present winds give way to a harsh stillness that resonates throughout their surroundings.
Here they come. Oh. Look at them. There's two here. No, there's like three. There's like there's more in the corner. Oh, wait a minute. Look at all those. They're like walking in a line. Oh my. They were walking in a line. We were the big ones. I swear. I swear I saw big ones that came.
The other things are.
You're telling me there's like an elite group of special forces hunting down cryptids, like the stuff from horror movies? Come on, man, you gotta be kidding. There's no way that's real.
Dude, I know it sounds crazy, but trust me on this one. I've got a guy who used to work with them. He was part of this paramilitary unit. Yeah, they call themselves the Phantoms. Their job? Hunting anomalies, neutralizing whatever shouldn't be out there.
You're serious right now?
Oh, 100%. He told me that the guys in Delta Force, SEALs, Rangers, they think they're at the top of the food chain, right? But like, nah, man, that's not even close. Most of the military and even the government, they have no idea this group exists. It's a need-to-know kind of deal, and most people just don't need to know.
So like, what kind of stuff are they hunting?
All right, when my buddy got recruited, he said it wasn't just about being the best. You had to be more than the best, you know? Out of 1,000 operators, maybe one would even get approached, and out of those, barely anyone makes it through. He said they're looking for like something special, something you can't just train for. When he finally went through training and found out what they were really hunting, I mean, he said it felt like finding out Santa Claus was fake. His entire world just flipped. The kind of creatures they deal with, man, it's like the stuff of nightmares.
Yeah, but like what exactly do they hunt?
Right, yeah, okay, so they hunt creatures, you know, the kind you think are just like campfire stories.
Campfire? Can you give me an example?
Oh, I can do better than that. I'll give you a story from one of their missions.
I don't think that's a good idea.
Whatever. So, it was back in 2008, right? Small town in the Kentucky Appalachian Mountains. People were just disappearing. Locals were scared, but the police, they were either too scared to tell the truth or told not to. And honestly, that's how it goes everywhere. The case got pushed up the chain, you know, through those 3-letter agencies, and once they figured it was something weird, it got handed over to the Phantoms. There were like dozens of reports of these massive wolves. Not your regular wolves either. These things were jet black, could stand on their hind legs, and were just insanely muscular. Thing is, wolves haven't been in Kentucky since like the 1800s.
simply told because of God.
So I don't know how crazy or unbelievable my story is, but it really happened, so I'm just going to tell it. Back in 2004, I was stationed in Ramadi, Iraq with the 2nd Battalion, 11th Marine Regiment, which was an artillery unit based out of Camp Pendleton, California. During our time there, we served as convoy security from Ramadi all the way to Baghdad for various convoys. That was our mission while we were out there. The base we were sent to was called Junction City. This was an Army, Marine, Navy compound that was across the river from the city of Ramadi. And the base we're on was a prior Iraqi police compound that we had taken over. But several thousand troops stationed there. And so this was, again, 2004. And if you remember 2004, the Iraq War was very hostile. It was a very big year for combat. April of that year, there was a big battle in the city of Ramadi. And then in December of that year, Operation Phantom Fury is when we took the city of Fallujah itself. And that was during the time period I was there in Iraq. So just to give some background of when I was there. So to get to my story, back then when you wanted to call home, and I don't know what the protocols are now or how things go now, but when you wanted to call home, you had to go to a phone center. These were typically rooms that had about 20 phones in them that people would sign their name and wait in line. Typically, each phone call was allowed 15 minutes. So when someone came out, they'd call the next name on the list and they'd say, hey, so-and-so, you're up. And you'd have 15 minutes to call as many people as you could or just stay on the phone calling home, right? So I had made a routine that at 2 a.m., I would go and make my phone calls because 2 a.m. Iraq time was like 5 p.m. back home, something like that, but nighttime there was daytime here, type of thing. So I wasn't waking anybody up. And also the base, everyone was sleeping at night. So those phone centers were much less busy because nobody was trying to wake up at 2 a.m. to call home. And so I'd have my alarm set for 2 a.m. every day. And at 2 a.m. I'd wake up, I'd grab my rifle, sling it over my shoulder, and begin my walk a couple hundred yards to this Army phone center to call home. And so to make this walk, you'd have to walk across this open field. There was some grass, but there was no obstructions in this field. It was an open field, desert type of environment. But other than that, there was nothing across these fields, just a worn out path from hundreds of Marines and soldiers, walking back and forth between the barracks and the phone centers. And obviously, you're in a time of war. You're not walking with flashlights or things like that. And the only light there was the moonlight, which in the desert was more than enough. It's plenty bright. It always seemed like it was a full moon, never a cloud in the sky. So I'm making my walk. Across this couple 100-yard journey from my barracks to the phone center. And I'm looking at the ground. Not paying attention, just kind of looking at my next step, looking at my feet, staring at the ground, just thinking about who I'm going to call or, things like that. Well, about halfway there, I run into somebody like physically shoulder to shoulder and I get knocked back. I get hit shoulder to shoulder and I say, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And I'm immediately feeling like, oh my God, who did I just run into? I'm an idiot. I'm staring at the ground. And I reach for this person's uniform to grab something to keep them from falling. But there's nobody there. And I'm looking and there's just no one there. And so I freeze with my arms up, grabbing. And I'm listening for somebody rolling in the grass or somebody stumbling, but there's nobody there. And I sit there for another 10-15 seconds. I even say hello, and there's no one there. And so I don't spend a whole lot of time because now I'm kind of embarrassed. I'm I wonder if somebody is watching me talk to myself in this open field. So I just continue walking. So I walk another 100 yards or so, and I get to the phone center. And when I get there, the door is padlocked, and there's a sign on the door that says, this phone center is out of service until further notice. So for those who were out there, who were deployed, or for those who don't know, when that happened, it was typically because there were casualties on the base that particular day, or the day prior, or recently. And they shut the phone centers down as a way to make sure the news of the fallen soldiers or the Marines doesn't get back to the next of kin before they could do it properly. And so it was a common thing in 2004. It seemed like every other week the phones were down 3, 4, 5 days at a time, which, you know, isn't a big deal if you're considering the alternative to being one of those casualties. And you completely respected those families, and your phone call, minor inconvenience, but you would always, your heart would always be with those families who were getting that news about their loved ones. So the phone center was closed, which it often was. And so I'm walking back, mild inconvenience that I wasn't able to make my phone call, but I'm sitting there thinking to myself, what if the person I ran into, the spirit that I ran into, was a soldier, Marine, sailor, who was going through their routine still of calling home, and they didn't realize that they had passed. And that's who I bumped into that day, or that night, on my way to make my phone call. And I've never forgotten that, and sometimes it gives me chills thinking about. I never pinpointed the day. I never pinpointed who the casualty might have been, but yeah, that's what happened to me, and it was very real, and it happened.
The year is 2017, October of 2017, like a day or two after I got out of boot camp. Now, real quick, you don't have to believe me when I tell you this story. To this day, I still think it was because I was jet lagged and sleep deprived. I had just started A school for 4 weeks at NetC, Pensacola, Florida. I'm a bit choppy on the time because it was bordering 6 years ago, but it had to be somewhere between 2:30 and 4 in the morning. I woke up, it was dark, my roommate wasn't there, he was on yeoman watch. There was a kid in his dress blues facing the door to my barracks room, but like going out. I wasn't in sleep paralysis, I could still move, but I was just like, had my head up like, is that my roommate? So I didn't say anything or move. Next thing you know, he does an about face facing me. I can't see his face, like his face is all blurry. And I just remember he looked really young. He gives a salute and then fades away. You know, like in movies where ghosts do that thing where they slowly disappear. And I didn't say shit. I just stared for a minute and then went back to sleep. And that was it. Literally the next day when I had to go to class, my classmates were like, hey, do you think this place is haunted? And then that's when I perked up and I was like, did you see something too? And we just didn't talk about it for the rest of the time we were there.
During service, I came home on a pass, and my sister had pulled the Ouija board out. And I do not believe in these things. I'm atheist, so I indulged her. She's asking me questions that anybody could either that random luck thing could very much be in play. So I start complaining. She then tells me to take my hands off the board and ask it a question that she could verify by me that it's unique. It's a unique answer. So I stupidly ask it the question, am I going to lose somebody on a deployment? And it says yes. I want specifics, so I ask it, all right, so name somebody that I'm going to lose on a deployment. And it spells out a very, very unique name that I know for sure my sister was not guessing. She had Other than my then soon-to-be brother-in-law, who was in my unit, she knew nobody else in my unit. So it spelled this kid's name, bugged me out. We threw away the board and just tried to put it behind us. About 8 months later, it was about, I don't know, 8, 9 months later, the guy who, my brother, not literally, but, just a kid that he was like my best friend, got in the head by a sniper on a deployment to Iraq. And I heard, when I heard, just, it's been this thing that's just been eating me up. I've digested it, but I still can't comprehend it. So, I don't know. That's the story. This thing has been kind of gnawing at the back of my mind for since 2007. So basically,
I was stationed in Okinawa for 3 years. And if y'all don't know shit about Okinawa, that place is the most haunted place in the world. And that's not me being like facetious. That's me being very serious. And I worked in the Naval Hospital. For those of you that don't know, the locals did not want to go into the old hospital to move the x-ray machine, so it had to be done by airlifting it out because that hospital was so haunted. I'm not sure, but that's what I've been told. I worked in the APU PACU, and our vitals machines would go off. And I'm not saying like turn on, no. These things would like beep and flatline without patients in the room. It was real creepy. There was one time that I was sitting in the PACU by myself because the nurses had walked out because all the lights are turned on. So they walked out because they were creeped out, but I sat there because I'm stupid. All the lights turned off. We don't know how to turn off all the lights. None of us know how to turn off all the lights. I used to live off base, and at the end of my road, there was like this tomb that the Japanese use. And I was walking my dog one night, and he sat down in front of it and just stared at it. And I promptly went home.
So the U.S. Army now is coming out saying that aliens are interested in our souls. What? So aliens are interested in our souls, according to Edward Abbott, who worked as an Army intelligence analyst from 2007 to 2009. He states that aliens are interested in how our souls get into our containers, aka our bodies, and they want to know if they can take our souls out and move them around and possibly put them into another container. Isn't that interesting? Now, how did he find out about this? He was working at a base. Some of the individuals he worked with were working on capturing communications coming from other planets and then interpreting them as well. He said as he was sitting around the table, just taking a break, he was listening to a lieutenant colonel, as well as other lieutenants, first lieutenants, and so on, discuss this exact topic. Now, this is his story. He told it to Linda Moulton Howe, and I find it extremely fascinating, possibly one of the most interesting aspects of ufology. Is it the one thing that is holding them back from giving us total disclosure? That would freak a lot of people out. And this is confirmed by other stories and abductees who have also been concerned about, who have also heard aliens speaking to them when they were abducted, saying, "Where is your soul? Where is the They also asked them, where is the subconscious?" So there's lots of stories that go on around about this story. There's lots of confirmations. What do you think?
I first want to say that I don't do this all the time or at all, so I don't know if this is going to work. Anyway, so I was in the Marine Corps from 2005 to 2020, then I got medically retired. So these stories that I have are from this, and I'm going to try to keep them in order as best I can, but no promises. So the first one was I was in Okinawa, and it was like 2007 time frame, 2008 maybe, and I went to this party, and we had these things called the towers. I was stationed on Camp Kinzer. The towers are where the staff NCOs and the people with families stayed. And anyway, I lived in a barracks because I was a junior Marine and Lance Corporal or Corporal, something like that. And I went down. I lived in 1224, which was maybe 3/4 of a mile, maybe, I don't know, something like that, away from there. Anyway, so we were there, you know, it was Halloween, I was dressed up as the Flash, and whatever, we were just partying, having a good time, and then it was time to go. So I start walking down the street back to my barracks room, and it's a pretty lonely walk. At that time there was nothing there. I don't know if there is now, but all that I remember is that there was a playground off to my right side, and as I'm walking through, I'm like on the right side of the road, and I'm walking past this playground, and I notice somebody walking on the other side towards the way I just came. Well, there's like, you know, street lights posted every so often, whatever they are, 20 yards, whatever. So I didn't notice him, and I was like, oh, well, maybe, you know, it's dark. It's probably past midnight or so at this time, and maybe I just missed him. I didn't see him, you know? I don't know. So I go and I look, and I was, you know, making sure he wasn't an officer or something, or me get, you know, Sergeant Major about to get yelled at for not saying something to him. So anyway, I look, and I look and I notice that like he's dressed in older, like really older, like camis, and I was like, it's Halloween, you know, whatever. Maybe he's dressed up as like some reenactor or something. And by the time all this is going through my head and trying to figure out what he was, he'd probably walked a few yards, but he still wasn't past me yet. And I just remember kind of like trying to look, couldn't really make anything out, and then I just looked ahead. I was like, whatever, he's a ways, I'll just take off, you know. And so I sitting there thinking that stuff, I look back, and dude's gone, like straight gone. And then I start thinking about it, and I'm like, yeah, that dude was like, looked kind of older, you know. He was dressed, had old camis on, and then he had a rifle too. It's kind of weird.